Morning guys. Okay, we are in the shop today going to do a DIY cupboard. I'm assisted by Michael and Abram. They're going to help me to show you this DIY video today. I'm going to go through the plan now. Firstly, this wood has been sponsored by Timber City. So this is in conjunction with them to show you how this DIY cupboard is made from beginning to ending. I'm going to explain the cutting list now, and then I will show you the work as they are sanding and varnishing, etc, etc. So here's the plan, just a rough plan done by hand. You will go and think of what you need to do, or go to your nearest Timber City or someone like me, but depends if you want the DIY installed. So this is for DIY purposes. How I did this one is a basic TV unit. We have a 52mm frame going around the side with side panels and the top. Then we have two drawer units going in between. So what I wanted to do here is we have this beautiful maple veneer that they gave for this project. So I wanted to stain it and did like a two-tone, but you can be creative. You can do whatever you want here. You can paint it, you can stain it, or you can do a melamine wood, whatever you want to do. We have the veneer, so I'm going to use it. The frame, I'm going to make a dark stained wood, and this centerpiece, I'm going to leave the natural maple color to make it that two-tone design. Cutting list, as I worked it out, we have our side panels that are 52mm thick. Actually 34mm in this instant, because veneer is 1mm thicker than your melamine, so 17 and 17 board. How we do this is I will do the cutting list like you see on here. Don't know if you can read here. I'll put the sizes on the description as well. We have 720 by 400. I have 4 of them. So it's going to give 2 side panels. So we put them on each other. So we will staple them to each other, or you can screw them if you don't have a nail gun. And then you can edge them veneer on both sides. So those will be our thick frames, and also our thick top. The rest of them I just have, there's the thick top, then I have the side panels for these 2 units, 4 of them. Then I have the floors for the 2 units. Then I have the drawer pieces, and I have a solid floor in these. I'm also going to add some soft close runners just to give it a bit of a premium feel. Okay guys, so I will keep you updated as we go through this. Before I go, I'm going to pick up the phone, just show you. It's always a good idea to set out your pieces like I did here. So you can see all the pieces, go on your cutting list, and then you mark them off as you have them. So before you start, you know you have everything. Otherwise you might run into the problem where you are short pieces and you need to stop the project, etc. But okay, so going to continue with this. I'll be back on the next one. Okay, we are going to demonstrate sanding now with the machine. As you can see, Abram is sanding with the grain of the wood, and he's got a not too heavy sandpaper. I think that's an 80 grit, yeah. So this will be for your first sanding, and then it will go off to staining or varnishing, and after that we do the sandings in between with a finer grit sandpaper. Okay guys, the staining process. We do this outside in the sun because it is winter, so it's nice and hot to use the sun outside, and this dries quickly. This one we want to do a very, very dark finish. So this is a mahogany stain. You can also get this from Timber City or any of the paint shops, and then you can apply if need be. If you wanted to show a bit more of the wood grain and less of the dark color, you can use a rag and just apply accordingly. On this one now, I want it as dark as possible, so we are applying it with a brush directly from the bottle onto the wood. Make it soak up everything, and it dries very quickly, so this will be touch dry in a few minutes. Then it can go. Don't sand after this stage, because if you sand after this, you're going to sand off the color again. So after this, directly onto a coat of varnish. Let that dry in the sun. I'll show you that in the next video. And then you can start sanding again lightly. Okay, good morning guys, day 2. Take your time when working with veneer. All of these are getting a proper sand down again. This will be final coat going on today. These you can do with the machine because you are just sanding on normal veneer, so there's no coloring on. But when working with those, if you sand in between, only sand by hand. But then final coat, Gray. Okay, so these are finished now. This is finished product. My lighting is not good, but I'll show you in the light on the next video when we actually assemble these units. Okay guys, today we're going to show you how to start assembling this unit. Michael will be making, I will be filming. So what he's doing now is marking out the 16 mil from the bottom where the floor is going to sit. And then you will fit your runners. So let him just mark out those first. Always very important to take your time and do your planning correctly before you start. You don't want to start and then short something. Like you can see, we've packed out all the sides, the floors, your cleat pieces, and then at the back we have the drawer pieces, the doors, and the floors for the drawers. And here we have our side panels that we will be fitting last. Okay, so now when you fit your runners, always keep it from the front about either flush, or we do like a 1 millimeter back instead of having it exactly sticking out in front or having it too far back. Punch a hole that's been punched already, and then you can fit your screws. Always good to fit at least 3 screws on these. He's already squared them out, so no need to square. If you are going to square them out first, and then you can punch the holes. So always make sure that these heavy duty runners are square. If they are not square, they work against each other and you will only have problems. They are very finicky. So again, these have been punched. Always line up your first screw in the front first. Then move out into your back screw, square it out if you have not done that yet. And then lastly, do a center screw just to hold everything nicely in place. Okay. Do the exact same on the other side 2 more times. Okay, so now guys, we use a nail gun. I know not everyone is going to have one. If you don't have one, do the screw and pilot hole method. We use a 50 mil staple on a nail gun. It's always the easiest and quickest way. So let's do an example. Always make sure everything is nice and lined up. Always watch out for your fingers, as Michael will know. Then always line up your front first, then you line up your bottom, and then you give 2 more just to keep them in place. Okay, so if you don't have a nail gun, you are going to mark out your holes, drill a pilot hole. Always drill a pilot hole or the wood will split, and then you just screw them instead of using the nails. Nice thing about this DIY build, these are going in between our panels, so you will not see any of these holes. And we always like to use a panel so you don't see those holes. They can be filled up and sanded down, but if you can avoid it, always do. Now our cleat pieces, we use 100 mil cleat pieces for the tops, not to waste any wood. So you will do 1 in front. Then we do 1 in the back. Okay, this step, I have a solid back on this design. You can use masonite or a solid back. Solid back is sturdier and all the color will be the same then. You need to pry it in nice and tightly like he's doing now at an angle. Then you can hammer it in. Michael uses his fists as hammers. Can also work if you don't have a fist, get a hammer. Okay guys, so that's basically one cabinet down. He's just going to nail down the bottom. Second cabinet will be exactly the same. So next we will show you how to build your drawers. Okay, so there you go, two identical boxes. Those are going to be our cabinets to hold the drawers that we are now going to do. I can already hear some of you in the comments saying, why don't we use wood glue when working with wood? You can, if you really want to, you can add some wood glue on your lines before you nail them or drill them. But nowadays, these nails that we use, 50 mils long, they have a glue that activates in them when you shoot them in with heat. They are very strong. When we need to disassemble a cabinet like this, you need to use a hammer and force, and most of the time you break it. So if you want to use wood glue, each to their own. We've not found it necessary unless we are doing some solid wood construction or something that's going to be having a lot of weights or something stacked on it. But for most purposes, for the normal person, this will be more than fine. Also, the frame is going to come around it, and that's also going to strengthen it, and that gets bonded with screws. So there, he's done his sides now. Always remember that the long side, this is going to be 350 mils, it's going to be where the runner attaches, and then your shorter side is on the inside. Sounds simple, but we still make that mistake till today. Okay, so four sides, you have your long sides, you have your insides. And then again, for the bottom, you can use a masonite backing. I like to use a solid floor. So this is going to be a solid floor that just slots in according to the sizes, nice and tight. So you have an airtight seal already with no nails. Then just go all around again, nail them down, make sure all the sides are nice and flush. So as you can see, this now is a very sturdy box, solid floor, and if my sizes are correct, that just slots in there. We'll sort that out a bit tight because of the veneer, but we will maneuver them in. So we're going to make the second box and show you how they go in. Okay, so now we are fitting the other parts of your runners to the drawer. Just going to turn it around and do the other side. So here again, you want to make sure that your runner is flush on front. If it sticks over, your drawer is going to be too far back. If it's too far back, your drawer is going to stick out. So nice and flush. You can rather have your runner in the cabinet about 1 millimeter back, so it pulls in a bit more. Don't let it stick out. You will see these are soft closers, so they stick out a bit in front when the other bit is out, because on the inside you have a spring and a piston that pulls this closed. Okay, so that is been fitted. Okay guys, so the problem we ran into now, veneer is a bit thicker than your melamine board. Like I said, these runners are very finicky. So if you run into this problem, always remember, you don't need to begin from scratch. You can remedy. Just knock the panel. See how hectic these nails hold. You need to knock. So you just knock them out like a millimeter.
you're never going to see that the structural integrity is still there, and then you try and refit the drawer again. Oh, wait, now that we knocked the cabinet to bits, we're going to try and refit it again. There we go. Nice and soft close. So that millimeter that we knock it out just makes all the difference. And like I said, don't worry about the structural integrity. These two get fitted to each other, and then the frame is going to be the actual structure. So if you ever have problems with these ball bearing runners, just finesse them a bit with a hammer or with your fist. Okay, next step you want to do is put your cabinets together. Use a clamp. Don't try and do this by hand. You might get it right once or twice, but if it just moves a bit, your alignment is off. So align your fronts properly and clamp it down. And then you do the same for the bottom piece. And if the top and bottom is clamped correctly, then this will also be in line. So then you can go. I like to use 4 screws, 2 in the front and 2 in the back to make sure that this cabinet does not flex. And the screws we use, guys, they are 50 millimeters, and they have a square drive bit. I'll show them the square drive. That allows for the screw not to slip. They are the new types of screws. I highly recommend them. A normal posi bit will drive you over the wall with a few times of slipping. As you can see, there's no slip here. If you don't stop, this screw will pull all the way through the wood. Perfect every time. Okay, next step, fit the side panels. Again, use your clamps. If you're going to have a kick plate, I've allowed for 100 mil kick plates, and Michael has made a line on 100 mils. He will now clamp that down. I've also allowed for 20 mil in the front, so that was going to come over your drawer face. So your face has a nice framed look. It makes all the difference. And also, if there is a bit of your face that does not sit 100% correctly, that panel will hide it. Again, 50 more screws. Screw that down, do that 4 times, move on to the next. Okay guys, so now you can see this cabinet, the drawers have been fitted to the sides. As you can see, this is very stable. Michael, move it around a bit just to show that's not going anywhere. That is strong. So now the plan is to fit the top on top of this. There's 2 ways of fitting this down. You can drill a pilot hole, put a screw in there, and then put some wood filler on the top and resand. We have a nail gun, so we are going to nail that down and just add some wood filler in. This will all be sanded down again and given a light final coat before it is finished. So Michael is just aligning up the sides very nicely, because this is made to fit like a waterfall flush side. So front, back, then move, okay, to the center one there, then move to the other side, do the same here. And now you are 80% done with the frame, and that's all fitted. Now we add in the top that's going to go in the middle piece. Just slots in place. So we keep it flush in front here again and on that side. So when we fit our drawer fronts, it makes a nice little framed box. You won't see any of the face protruding. Okay, so now next move is mark out your handles and punch them. Always punch them, because when you go to drill them, if your drill bit moves 3 millimeters, you're going to have problems to sort out later. So now that's been punched. Now what I like to do, this is a little trick I do, I use the hanging rails, because that's a 3 mil gap. You can use a piece of masonite as well, but then as you can see now, you can put them against the top and then just push your face up to give a 3 mil spacing at the top, and on the side you just need to eyeball it to keep it 3 mils, so your spacing is nice and even. Let me get a vantage here. Okay, Michael will demonstrate. face on, one spacer in, do the same on the other side, and then just eyeball your side so the gaps are nice and even. And then where you've marked your handles, just shoot below that, because your handle is going to cover up that. You can also work from the inside if you take the top off, but this way I found you can get your gaps perfect every time. Then slide your drawer out and just give it some wax, so make sure it's nice and flush. If you don't have a hand, use a hammer, and then nail it down again in all four corners. That will be enough. Now also remember, your handle is going to also secure that down. So it's going to be the nails and the handle screws that hold that in place. Do the same again on the other side. See how nicely those gaps match up. Everywhere 3 more gaps, just what I like to see. So this is a foolproof way of doing it, and always having a beautiful finish. There you go, nicely done. Okay, now we go to fit our handles. Open the drawer. Trick I learned from Michael actually, put a piece of wood behind where you're going to drill. What this does, let me show you what this does. It makes sure that your inside, look how perfect that hole is. Otherwise, what wood does, when that draw comes through, it actually splinters. Let's show you one. If you don't do that. See what I mean? So you get that. So you can wipe it off, but you're always going to have the chips. So that makes you drill a perfect hole that does not break out on the inside. Do it again on this side and then fit your handle. Okay guys, another trick when fitting handles, go ahead and buy yourself some 40mm screws. They do not come in the pack. There Michael showing them. We learned this with time. They do not come in the pack. So always go ahead when you're doing drawers, buy 40mm screws, so you don't need to run back to the hardware again. The rest is self-explanatory. Hope you measured correctly. Put your screws through and start to fasten them one by one. Something I always like to do is not fasten the one side all the way, so you can still maneuver a bit to get the other side in. Once that is in, now you can go ahead and completely fasten down your handle. There you go guys, cabinet's basically finished. This will go into cleaning one more time now to just make sure everything is perfect. But how nice is this? Nice retro black veneer around the sides with the wood of the maple board showing on the veneer itself. Soft close, full exposed soft close, and retro leather strap handles. I will show you some pictures when this is all done with some, I'm going to use this for audio kits, and it will be a display cabinet. Okay guys, so we got to the end of our DIY cabinets and I've got it installed here now. This was my intended purpose for it from the start. This video will also be both on the Carpentry King YouTube channel and the Home Cinema King YouTube channel, for you guys that want to stay tuned for a bit later in this to hear what the audio on this sounds like, and guys that are interested. But otherwise, for the DIY cabinet aspect, I just want to touch on it again, that this was a partnership with Timber City, and I'm sure they're going to post the links for this as well on their platforms, as this is a cross partnership. We're going to be doing more of these. I've got some vanities lined up, some floating vanities, that sort of thing. But so I'm going to also post the cutting list for this. You guys can make it bigger. I made this so it fits in one sheet of veneer wood. You can make it bigger, you can double it up, have 4 drawers at the bottom, have a bigger space for maybe a big 65 or a 70-inch TV, that sort of thing. Whatever you want to do with it. I think this came out phenomenally. The black with the maple veneer just looks epic. I love it. We went, like you saw in the previous video, for the soft closers with the leather strap handles. You can put your movies in here, whatever you want, some storage for remotes, that sort of thing. Guys, so yeah, if you want to see more stuff like this, please let me know what you would like to see,
and I can make it happen for you. And now for the audio, guys, in the same video, what I did with this, the way things are going nowadays, being more sleek and slimline, I went for the Bluesound Node on a Marantz power amplifier, going to a set of Monitor Audio Studios. This is a 6-channel power amplifier, so I can add different speakers on here. I can use them. This is going to be my demonstration, but for bookshelves or whatever you want to hear on this. This combo, be it very basic, is audio nirvana, guys. I've been sitting there for a while now listening to this. Absolute audio nirvana. Let me play some demos, and then that will be the end of this video. Guys, before we get to the end, please like and subscribe. It helps us to grow. We will also, might do a competition where we're going to pick out Easter eggs in this. If you guys can pick those, you might stand a chance to win something, but that will be for a later date. But yeah, so watch all the videos, look for the questions when we ask them. Okay, so here's a little demo on the music, royalty free, so they don't flag us on this video. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit, not to make this video too long in the tooth for the guys that just want to see DIY and not audio. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Till next time. Cheers. Bye.